Hello, I'm Heather,
And I'm Ryan.
and we are the Boxcard Gamers.
We play box card games.
In every episode. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Boxcard Gamers. This is round one of Would You Rather? Here's how it works. We have a set of cards. On each card are 4 Would You Rather questions. I will ask Ryan each question on his card. If he picks the same answer I did, he gets a point. If not, he gets 0 points. Then we pick a new card, and it's my turn. Caveat: no more than 1 point and no fewer than 0 points may be awarded per question. Again, the game we are playing is called Would You Rather? It is by Zobmondo and is available for purchase on Amazon. Link in the show notes. They are not a sponsor. It should also be noted that we are playing a modified for podcasting version of the board game, aka regular Would You Rather. The current running score is Ryan 0, Heather 0.
I
Ryan?
thought you were going to make up a score, be like, and Heather 5.
I should have, but I didn't think fast enough for that joke.
And give yourself a handicap, Heather.
It's a missed opportunity for a joke, okay? I'm sorry. Ryan, are you ready for your first card?
I am ready. And this is what you would rather have, right?
Well, that's not how I was going to play it, but you can play it that way if you like. I just innocently thought we would each pick whichever one was our actual preference.
Okay.
And then if we happen to get the same one, the person would get a point. But you want to make it all competitive.
If we tie, then that means that we definitely are related.
Okay, let's find out how related we are. Spoiler alert. We're 100% biologically related. Let's continue.
That you know of.
Ryan?
You're adopted.
Yeah, it's the reason I haven't given any DNA to the websites. Don't want to find out about it. Here we go. Would you rather have all of your teeth fall out with no replacements, or mysteriously never again be able to open one of your eyes even for a second?
The eye. Take an eye. I'd rather have all my teeth.
Okay. That's it? You just want your teeth and you don't care about the eye?
Yeah, I can still see, but now I can't frickin' chew.
Ryan?
I literally soft foods for the rest of my life. Everything smoothie sounds terrible. I'd rather have no depth perception and still be able to chew my food.
Okay, I see where you're coming from there. Are you sure that is the answer you want to go with?
No, because I'm pretty sure you went with the other one, but I'm sticking to my guns.
Well, Ryan,
I'm not being competitive, Heather.
congratulations, you get a point.
Yes!
Ryan, would you rather have a constant white saliva coating on your tongue or have constantly sweaty palms?
Sweaty palms. I'll just wear gloves. No big deal. Muh.
You're sure you would not rather have a white saliva coating on your tongue?
No, because when you talk to people, you'd be like, hey, how are you doing? And they're like, what the is wrong with his tongue? But if I'm wearing gloves, no one will ever know I have sweaty palms.
You know, you do have the option when you talk to people of not sticking your tongue out really exaggeratedly with every word you speak.
Listen, Heather, it's still noticeable. Do you notice people's janky teeth, Heather?
I mean, it depends on the circumstance. If they start laughing or smiling, then yeah.
I will never be able to guffaw again. I would have to, cover my mouth.
Well, Ryan, guess what?
I don't get a point.
You get a point because I couldn't
sweet.
decide which answer. I was like, I don't know which one of those. They both suck to me. So you get a point.
Okay.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Ryan, would you rather return a wallet found with $500 inside, but keep the $500 for yourself, saying the money wasn't in there when you found it? or turn in both the money and the wallet and have the owner insist to the police that he had $1,000 before you stole 500 of it? This is a tough one.
No, it's not. I would turn in the wallet to the police, and there's literally no evidence that I stole $500 from you. Sorry, dude. You can claim all you want. There's $1,000 in it. I found it on the ground with $500 in it. That's what I'm telling the police, and there's literally nothing they can do.
I agree with you, Ryan, and you get a point for that.
Excellent.
And I have a story about this.
Excellent.
I could not believe a friend of mine, I don't know how we got on this topic. Something like, hey, when people drop their wallet and you go, here, excuse me, you dropped your wallet and we give it to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
He tells me the story that he's coming out of a store into a parking lot and he sees this wad of money on the ground and this couple is walking out in front, like I guess an elderly couple.
Mm-hmm.
And they were foreign, like they weren't American. And he picks up this wad. It was like $700, like $700 bills. And he goes, hey, is this yours? And they turn around. They're like, oh, yes, thank you so much, right? So right before he gives it to them, he sneaks one of the hundreds into his own pocket and gives them $600.
What?
And I was dumbfounded. I was like, I can't believe you did that. He's like, what? It wasn't their money. I'm like, I feel like it was their money. I feel like you noticed that they dropped it and that's why otherwise, why didn't you just keep the whole wad for yourself?
Yeah. If it wasn't their money, why didn't you just hang on to it?
I couldn't believe it. I was beside myself. I still have a lessening of respect for this person after this incident, which happened like 20 years ago.
Do I know this person?
You might.
Okay.
I'll tell you later because I don't want to.
Oh, for
what's
sure.
the word? Slander somebody on a podcast. Anyways, it made an impression on me, a poor impression, Ryan.
Oh,
Let
for
us
sure.
Continue. Would you rather become invisible at random and uncontrollable times or always hear everyone's thoughts?
I would rather be invisible, uncontrollable, whatever. I think I would go insane if I could hear everybody's thoughts. I don't want to hear your thoughts. I think it would be great at first, but like, oh, this is great, until you start listening to like the real dark thoughts and then just hearing people's thoughts all the time is going to make me go insane.
I see where you're coming from there. But you don't get a point because I would always hear everyone's thoughts is what I picked. And here's why. I am fantastic at tuning out distractions. I'm super good at it.
Heather, no one's going to want to be around you if they know that you can hear their thoughts.
Like, they don't know, Ryan. I'm a conniving bastard.
Heather, listen, because you're going to hear people's thoughts and then you're going to be like, oh, okay. And then you're going to act differently because you know their thoughts and people will catch on. They'll be like, wow, it seems like Heather knows me really well. Like almost like she can hear my thoughts. Oh my God, Heather can hear my thoughts. And then no one wants to be around you because they know. And you'll have no friends and you'll be lonely.
Ryan, if I could hear everybody's thoughts all the time, that also means that I would be able to hear Charlie's thoughts all the time. And I would really like to be able to do that since she cannot communicate them.
That is fair.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But also, I am good. So I would be able to do that, but also tune out. But also, I don't hang out with a lot of people all the time. I'm kind of a loner at this point in my life.
You're going to hear Holly saying some fucked up shit about you and you're like...
She says it to my face already. What's the difference? She does not hold back.
It's going to be 10 times worse, Heather.
Oh, okay, Ryan. You scored 3 points for this round.
Nice.
Hit me with my cards.
Heather, would you rather be caught outside in a severe hailstorm or in a severe sandstorm?
Ryan, I picked this, and it might just be because I don't know how to survive in the wilderness, but I picked sandstorm because I figured the chances of survival were better in a sandstorm because I could just hide my head like a turtle in my sweater and protect my face and just curl up till it passes over.
Sure.
But with a hailstorm, I'm going to get battered to death.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I admit maybe cleaning up after the sandstorm might be worse than after the hailstorm. But again, better survival in a sandstorm? I don't know.
You know what?
I don't know.
There are countries and large cities that deal with sandstorms all the time, and they seem to fare just fine.
True enough. So do I get a point?
Yes, you do.
Oh my God, I'm so happy. I was worried I wasn't going to get one. I was like, I don't think he picked sandstorm.
Oh yeah, I would rather be caught in a sandstorm.
Excellent. Glad we agree.
Would you rather run into someone you have a crush on and be talking to them when you realize you're standing in a pile of dog doo, or be talking to them and have them point out to you that you've got dozens of ants crawling all over you?
Well, Ryan, I do not relish the thought at all of having dozens of ants crawling all over me. I don't want that. And I don't care about stepping in poo because I can wash off my shoe. And I'm married, so this crush is going nowhere anyway. Nothing's going to come of it.
But
also,
you have to set that aside. You
so I have to pretend like I'm not married?
Correct. Because, yeah, I had the same thought, but you have to put yourself into the space of someone who is not married. That this is actually someone that you have a crush on.
In that case, Ryan, I still pick the dog poo, and here's why. It's going to be a test of whether this person likes me back, because if they're all like, ew, gross, and I never want to talk to you again, dog poo stepper, then I know that I have a stupid crush.
Right.
But also, there's a chance they might not notice the poo. Thirdly, I really don't get embarrassed that easily. And fourthly, I cannot stress how little I want ants crawling all over me.
Sure.
I'm sticking with this answer. I'm sticking with it.
Honestly, Heather, I would not be bothered either way, because people step in dog shit. People get ants on them. I'm not bothered by ants. So literally either situation. Yes, you get a point. Either situation, I don't it wouldn't bother me the least.
Excellent. So far, Ryan, I've only got 1 point to tie. I'm now trying to tie with you in this game instead of win, so that I can prove I'm not adopted. Let's continue.
Would you rather wake up one day and not recognize your friends and family, or not have your friends and family recognize you?
This is a tough one, Ryan.
It's not tough at all.
I would rather wake up one day and not recognize my friends and family. Because then they're just going to be like, oh no, she has amnesia. If I wake up one day and none of my friends and family recognize me, I'm the crazy person that needs to get locked up. And that's not going to go well for me.
Right.
Plus, I get a mini vacation from the stress of my life, because I'll probably get my memory back at some point.
And I think it's permanent for all intents and purposes.
All right. Well, I get to know everybody again, and it's fun.
Excellent.
Okay. Yeah.
You get a point, Heather.
Thank you.
I would rather, because how freaking lonely would that be to be I guess it would be lonely either way now that I think about it, but it would be extra lonely knowing all these people and they not know who you are.
Exactly. See, if they remember you, even if you don't remember them, they love you, they're supporting you, and they're helping you. So you've got that still.
Yes.
Presumably, unless you have really crappy friends and family.
Right. All right,
okay,
Heather,
Ryan.
1 point for you. We are now tied. Would you rather eat 5 boxes of Fruit Rings cereal in one day or drink 21 cups of coffee?
Ryan, I have a very specific answer to this, and I feel like you're going to think it's problematic, big finger air quotes, but I'm going to go for this, okay? I would rather eat 5 boxes of Fruit Rings cereal in one day. 21 cups of coffee will probably kill me. I drink a lot of coffee, all right, but that's a lot even for me.
But in this world, it's not going to kill you. I think 5 boxes of cereal a day will probably eventually kill you.
but it just says in one day. So it's a one-time thing. Plus, they have mini boxes of individual servings, and I would eat 5 of those. See, I knew you weren't going to be. It doesn't say what size the box is. I think it's legitimate. I think it's legitimate that I eat 5 boxes of fruit rings.
I think it's implying a day.
It says eat 5 boxes of Fruit Ring cereal in one day, not every single day.
Okay, fine. Well, Heather, I'm still going with my other answer, and I would rather drink 21 cups of coffee.
And
Ryan, it's not going to kill me. And you know what? I don't mind pulling an all-nighter. I got to do that every now and again.
I see you on that one. If it was every day, I would just go with the coffee and die young. I would.
And never get sleep ever?
Listen, I'm overjoyed that we tied. So far, I'm not adopted, and I'm liking it.
Excellent.
So before we go away, I want to share something.
Mm-hmm.
I love a good hack. And every now and then I find a fantastic hack that really helps me out, and I just start using it all the time. And I found such a great hack. I have a feeling, Ryan, that you probably are already aware of this hack and use it all the time. I just feel like you might. But I discovered this, and then I was so enthusiastic about it. I was like, I need to start a hack podcast. And every time I come up with a hack, I'll do an episode. And I was like, yeah, I'll do like 1 or 2 episodes a year with that podcast. That's silly. Why don't I just share it on the podcast I already have? I won't keep you waiting any longer. Here's the hack. When you crack eggs, if you get a shell in the egg, use half of the shell you just cracked to scoop out the piece of shell. It works like a charm. I don't know how I just discovered this in the last couple of weeks. I've already used it twice. It's genius. Absolute genius. You did know that?
Don't crack your eggs on a corner and you won't get shells in your eggs.
You know what, Ryan?
Flat surface.
I crack them flat on the counter and I still get shells in my eggs. So
what is wrong with
you? Advice that doesn't work. What's wrong with me? What's wrong with eggshells, Ryan? This is a problem since time immemorial. Stop acting like I'm the only one.
Smash them on the counter and then scooping it into the bowl?
I angry egg make every time. I'm just like throwing the egg into the bowl.
Gentle crack.
All right, well, maybe I'm applying too much pressure to the crack. Well, here's another thing that happens.
I'm going to make you so self-conscious next time you're cracking eggs. You're like,
Also, we're just going to bowl right over the fact I just said something about a soft crack. Anyway, listen, what did I just say? It was so overtly sexual sounding. Sometimes, Ryan, I manage to tap the egg just so that there's one line of a crack in it. And I'm like, that's perfect. And I go to pull the egg apart and then all my fingers fall into the egg and I crush the yolk and it's a disaster. So
Heather angry. Heather smash.
I turn into the Hulk when cracking eggs, apparently. I have no control over this. Listen, just use half an eggshell to get... Yes. Have you literally... Come on. You occasionally get an eggshell when you're cracking eggs.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Mister, just crack it on a flat surface and you'll never have a shell in your egg, even though it still happens to me occasionally, even though I crack it on a flat surface. I'm done being mean to you now.
It happens to me 0.01% of the time, Heather. Almost never.
Well, Ryan, I think we've established you're already better at everything in the kitchen than I am. So it's not like there's an argument here. You're better at it. Congrats. Well done.
You know what, Heather? I remember one time you went to go bake cookies and you used powdered sugar. And I watched you grab the powdered sugar and I said, you don't want to use that sugar, Heather. You want to use the granulated sugar. And you said, I know what I'm doing. I said, okay, Heather, you do you. And I watched as you pulled your cookies out of the oven and they were just a melted mess all over the pan. And I was like, that's what you get for using powdered sugar, Heather. That's what you get.
Well, Ryan.
In my head. I said that in my head.
For the record, I have absolutely no memory of this taking place. Just saying.
You know what?
The story might be made up. Go on.
Speaking of baked goods, for whatever reason, this reminds me. So where we grew up, they had the girls' dormitory, which had the lounge, right?
Yes.
Which anybody could go into. Boys and girls could utilize that lounge. And they had these big bay windows in the corner.
That's right.
Anyway, so I was probably 12-ish at the time, and I happened to be walking past with a friend, and we're walking past, and we happen to glance over into the lounge, and there's a bunch of like middle school girls all sitting around in their bras and underwear, reading books. And my little 12-year-old brain did not know what to do with this information, and I just sat there staring. Completely dumbfounded, also while being a boy.
Sure.
And one of the girls happens to look over, and she goes, "Oh my God!" She starts screaming, and they're all covering themselves up like, "Ah!" running around, and I was like, "Oh God!" And I panicked, and I took off running. And I was like, oh God, I'm going to be in so much trouble for this. I'm going to get in so much trouble for this. Like, I forget who my friend was. And we both ran away because we both were sitting there staring.
Right.
So I was like, I'm going to make some chocolate chip cookies and I'm going to give it to the girl that started screaming first. And maybe she'll forgive me and not get me in trouble. So I whipped up a dozen cookies and I walked back to the girls' dorm.
Were they still scantily clad?
No.
Okay.
It was a little while later, and she just happens to be walking down the path to the girls' dorm. And I was like, hey, I felt really bad for what happened, and I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to. Here's a dozen of cookies. Please don't get me in trouble. And she goes, oh! And there happened to be a bunch of the girls around. She's like, Ryan made us cookies for seeing us in their bras and underwear. And my face just turned bright freaking red, and I ran back home feeling like a jackass twice in a day.
Aw, I can't believe. Okay. You know what? First of all, they should be the ones getting in trouble for not wearing any clothes in the co-ed lounge that they must have known was a co-ed lounge.
Oh, for sure.
Any guy could have walked in there any moment, unsuspecting that they were in there. That's A. B, if somebody home makes you cookies, delicious, delicious cookies, because I know they were delicious because I have had those cookies. Okay? You should have told me about this. I would have gone and kicked her ass. I would have.
I bet you would have.
I would have.
I was too embarrassed. And I think that was kind of around the age where we didn't really get along very well. So,
I still would have kicked her ass for you.
Well, you know what? I know you would have, because thinking back, and I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this on the podcast before, but there was one time where we were on the playground on the swings and you happened to be there. And I remember someone taking a jab at me and you got off your swing and you're like, don't you fucking talk about my brother like that. Like, and I was like, whoa, shit. Like, what?
You have told that story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love hearing it again, but I don't know if everyone else does. Sure they do. I'm awesome. See, I defend my brother. Makes up for all the crappy things about me. Like when I'm mean to my brother.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, tell you what, everybody, do us a favor. Share the podcast if you've been enjoying it. Tell somebody. Send them the link. Use the share icon in your app.
And if you've got any stories.
Yes, send us your stories. Send us your hacks. You can email, social media, Boost, show notes. Everything's there. On Instagram, at, what podcast are we doing? At Boxcard Gamers. On Facebook, at Boxcard Gamers. I'm going to be honest. If you message me on Instagram, because I'm not on Facebook very often. It'll be like weeks before I see it on there. Email us, boxcardgamers@outlook.com, or use an app that has a boost button. That's all you got to do. So simple. So many options. That said, Ryan, until next week, have an incredible, wonderful, magnificent, especially wonderful, I'll say it again, time Until
we play again.